You've worked for decades, tried to be disciplined, saving and investing in hopes of achieving financial freedom. And you've been led to believe creating this perfect financial picture is one size fits all. But the truth is, no one's like you. Your perfect financial picture won't look like anyone else's. You deserve a financial strategy just as unique as you are. So how do you navigate the complexities and volatility of a financial environment that just never sits still? How do you find the guidance you need? Who do you trust with the wisdom to create your financial masterpiece? You've arrived. This is the Wealth Council. So glad you've joined us on the Wealth Council. Brad Johansson with independent advisors around the country as we tackle some of your greatest fears. Well, the number one, at least moving into retirement, is you're going to run out of money before you die. And speaking of dying, gentlemen, I have a harsh fact for you. We're going first most of the time. Why? I think it's because women are more brilliant than we are, which is why I've had three of them join me on the set to begin the program. Kristen Taylor out of Ohio. Rebecca Walzer, our lawyer and national analyst who is based out of Tampa, Florida. Brittany Hagy out of Tennessee and Georgia. Ladies, this is different. Okay, I'm the stupid one here. Why is it that we need to understand, especially moving forward? I'll let any of you grab and take a hold of this. Do we need to pay attention to women in a different understanding than we have before financially?
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting is, in general, as financial advisors, our number one priority should be to address the fears and concerns of any of our clients coming in so that they can accomplish their goals. And that much more is true with women, because women typically, like you started out saying there, live longer than men. But not only that, historically, women aren't as involved in the finances as men are. And so they really need to grab hold of that concept of understanding what the fears are, what is holding them back, what are the hindrances of their success through retirement, and addressing those through their goals.
We know change is happening. Is that changing, Rebecca, that women are now more involved in many of the financial plans?
I think so. I think that women are becoming more empowered. And the truth is that likely, to your point, the statistics show that men die more quickly, and women, we have more morbidity, which means we die more slowly and over a longer period of time, some kind of longer illness, usually some kind of mental dementia or something. It seems to be the statistics the way that it's going. And so what that means is, even if a female is comfortable with her husband or her partner handling the finances, there's going to come a day where the responsibilities and the decisions are going to be on her shoulders and solely on her shoulders. And if she is not prepared for that responsibility or that stress level, or she doesn't have a plan that she knows how to execute, then it's going to be even compounding the stress of the loss of a significant other, a loss of an income. We women typically do, well, first of all, finance is a male-dominated world. Tax law is a male-dominated world. I know, I live it every single day. And I just want to empower women to understand, listen, even if it's not your forte, even if you're not, thinking that this is my thing, understand what is going on in your household so that you can be empowered to take decisions and make decisions when they come up.
Brittany, you and Kristen both running firms with your husbands. How often is it, how important is it that many of the times, if couples are coming in with uncomfortability, that the two of you will sit down with them and adjust to the feel? Look, many of our financial decisions are based on feelings. So in the comfortability of understanding that, how often are you sitting down with couples together?
That's the majority of what we do. We're sitting couple to couple, helping folks plan together and not separately as silos, because we will be the ones left standing at the end. And so we don't want to be caught off guard. We don't want to be in a position to where we don't know what to do or how to navigate. We want to help women become empowered. So we communicate that it's all about women being informed. You don't have to run the show if you don't want to, right? Many of our clients do, but then you don't have to.
Right.
But just to be informed about, how do I pay the mortgage? How do I take care of the investments, or how do I take distributions if I need money? Who do I talk to for those things? Because the reality is 95% of women will at some point be their household's primary financial decision maker.
That's right.
Whether they're widowed or divorced, unexpected scenarios like that happen every day. The average age of widowhood is 59.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So young.
So
and
low.
so if we can catch this on the front side and help women become more prepared with the whole of their financial picture, they're going to win on the backside.
Similar on your end, Kristen?
It is. And I wanted to say, you know, and Rebecca, you might feel the same way, and Brittany as well, but I think the biggest hurdle for women is trust. We've all been burned in some way at some point throughout our life. And so as Rebecca's pointed out, is that you don't have to be the guru on it, but get educated enough so that you're empowered to make those decisions. And so that's the starting point that I want to say for our viewers is really just get out there and understand the lingo a little bit, understand what you have. That's a great starting
And you can't
point.
you can't leave it up to your man because you have different needs.
That's right,
You
exactly.
have different needs. So therefore, it cannot be a male plan. It has to be a joint plan or your plan.
That's right. Agree totally.
The idea is readiness, so I will put this up. We do this quite a bit on this program, Retirement Readiness Plan, if you want to scan the QR code to be able to do that. Sometimes we say this, you don't know what you don't know. So getting yourself ready is probably part of the plan. And then moving into a plan, maybe the first thing that you need to do. Does it feel different? Do you need it to feel different? Maybe you've been with an advisor that doesn't understand any of the things that we're starting to talk about today. Maybe it's time for a second opinion. That's when you want to call a number on your screen. You can scan that QR code as well. A quick call gets you a complimentary written plan from the Wealth Council. It's your time. So use the council's wisdom. It's your wealth. Ladies, thank you. We're back after this. Did you know you have a silent partner in retirement? It's Uncle Sam. He owns a share of every dollar in your traditional IRA or 401k, and he controls the rules. When you withdraw, how much you owe, and what the tax rate will be. But there may be a way to take back control. A Roth conversion strategy. It could reduce your future exposure. So you want to see how much the IRS might claim? Scan the QR code on the screen. Use our free tax calculator today.
He's always there when you think the night belongs to you. Want to remove Uncle Sam from your retirement?
Welcome back to the Wealth Council. Brad Johansson with advisors from around the country, independent advisors talking about your retirement plans. Let's head into long-term care costs. I don't want to deal with that. That's going to be long down the road for me, and maybe I won't be one of those people. Well, maybe you won't. But the latest numbers say that 73% of people over 65 are now going to need some form of long-term care. We're talking about, we think so, Billy Voiles out of Minnesota, Joe Wilson out of Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Why so significant? Rhetorical question. If we're talking 73% of people moving into retirement are dealing with that, are the costs going to keep increasing, and did they have to be formed into the plan?
Well, no, you and I were talking just the other day, Bill, and when you look at inflation and how it's affected the modern retiree, one of the biggest areas is just in the medical expenses. And we are living longer. And so I do feel that this is an area that I think many retirees are kind of taken off guard, right? You have those beginning years, it's the go-go years, you spend money, you travel, hit the slow go, I've been there, I've done that.
Yep.
And then the no-go hits. And I think this hits home with me, Brad, just because I've seen my mom, 83, in the beginning of the year, and she's been struggling with some beginning stages of Alzheimer's. And the reality of this is coming home. One of the things I think we have to be cautious of, the old term long-term care insurance, it's no longer around, thank God. I hated it. It was use it or lose it. Now it's almost like a Swiss Army knife. If we need the money to go on vacation and take the grandkids to Disney, we can. If we need it for a death benefit, we can. But there's also an amazing place to get money to hedge what could be some of the biggest expenses we see in retirement.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. And there's, like you're saying, there's a lot of newer options when it comes to planning for long-term care. And for those of you viewers out there, most of you are lucky enough that maybe you haven't actually witnessed long-term care, but the people that come into our office, Joe, that are most interested in, I have to have a solution for this as part of my plan, they've witnessed a loved one and their assets deplete and their go through their net worth just disappear from long-term care, or they've seen just the toll that it takes on them mentally and physically, and they want to have something that addresses it so they can reduce the stress of their plan and have something set aside that they know is directly going to take care of their long-term care costs.
At the beginning of the year, I told you this was hitting home, and we've started to have Mom's been falling a couple times. Dad and I just took an afternoon. I said, hey, let's just drive around here in northern Cincinnati and just get an idea of where costs were. And they are ranging, Brad, all across the board because of the expense and the level of care. But if I just took the middle of the road of the care, you're looking at about $95,000 in Cincinnati, Ohio a year. On the higher end, when it talks about medical care and a little bit more physical therapy, things of that nature, 120. The average time in the nursing home or in an assisted living is 3.5 years. That's average. So unless you have serious dollars, you're going to have to be utilizing some other tools, or you're going to be forced to do that medical spend down for Medicare. And I think that's important because I don't believe most retirees have thought this through, because it's been the go-go years. Everything's great. And if it's all in an IRA, you're going to have to pay taxes when that comes out. So there's a lot of impact when it comes to planning.
This, again, is a tail end of a plan that we kind of talk about. I don't need to think about that until later. The earlier we start on this, when you talk about the solutions that are now out there for some of these things, the earlier we start in, is it more cost efficient to plan in long-term care?
Absolutely. And long-term care insurance, right, as its own, or even these others, it's weird insurance because if 7 out of 10 people are going to need it, only 3 people are then paying for the 7. So it's weird.
Yeah.
If you're buy auto insurance, only 1 in 100 people are going to total their car. So 99 people pay for the one that totals it. No big deal. That's the complication of long-term care. But the earlier you address it, the more you can get ahead of these costs and you can leverage that asset you put in. But importantly, Joe mentioned taxes. Because if we don't address it and we don't use long-term care planning as a part of it, and all we have left at the end of the day is our IRA, now all of a sudden, to pay for $100,000 a year, it's going to cost us $150,000, $160,000 a year. Then we got to pay our taxes in order to pay for the care. So we really want to plan ahead because we can be tax efficient with our planning.
And that's so important because we always say that you can only spend after tax dollars, but the same comes with care. And if we need it, it's there.
Yeah.
But if we don't need it, there are no longer these things, lose it. There can be death benefit that goes tax-free to the next generation. There are options where you could take that money, depending on the type of account you set up, and go take the grandkids on a trip.
Yeah.
It needs to have a multi-purpose because you're right, 3 people out of 10 aren't going to need it. Well, let's not just allocate that money somewhere where that's an if, but if the reality of us living longer, this is an area that must be addressed. And there's so many amazing tools right now.
If I say this is the tail end of the plan, that's the question for you, which is why we want to make this easier for you. A retirement readiness quiz. Do you have this in your plan? Are there other things that you may be missing in your plan? This will give you a real life understanding of where you are and maybe what you need to do. And then you're probably going to want to make a phone call. So call the number on your screen and you can claim your complimentary written plan that includes long-term care? Or are you not going to be one of the 7 out of 10 that are going to need it? Make the call now. Do yourself a favor. It's the Council's wisdom. It's your wealth. We're back after this. Are you ready to retire? I don't know isn't an acceptable answer because if you're not ready to retire with enough money to last until your last breath, when would you like to know? We created a quiz to give you a clear idea of retirement readiness, income, Social Security, taxes, health care. Get a clear picture of how ready you are and where you might need some help. Get a second opinion. Scan the QR code now.
You didn't pay your taxes last year. I'm here to collect.
In retirement, Uncle Sam is always there. Want to remove Uncle Sam from your retirement?
greatest fear in retirement? Is it running out of money? Social Security cuts? Maybe health care? Taxes? Just not sure. Scan the QR code. Give us your answer. You are watching the Wealth Council, and this is The Exchange, rapid fire. 3 topics, 2 advisors, 2 opinions. Scott Winstead, Chance Robinson. We begin with Scott on question 1. Most overlooked risk in retirement taxes, Scott?
Most overlooked risk has to be required minimum distributions. I think people understand, hey, I saved in my 401k, I saved in my IRA, I have to take some money out. I don't think they realize how much they're going to have to take out and what it's going to do to the other parts of their retirement plan.
Chance, your thoughts?
I think I'm going to have to go with Social Security taxation.